One of the biggest lies about getting over heartbreak is that you maybe need to go find yourself. Okay, stay with me here. So, I don't actually think that's true because what if the person you were before the relationship just doesn't exist anymore? You can't really go back to that. You can only move forward. And pretty much every relationship that ends will end up changing us for better or for worse. So, what if heartbreak is not asking you to go backwards, but forwards and intentionally create somebody new? So, if we've never met before, hi, my name is Andrea Hunt, and I'm a Heartbreak to Healing EFT coach. And I help women heal after heartbreak to rebuild their confidence and create a life that they genuinely love after a breakup. So, one of the things that I hear over and over again is like, I don't even know who I am anymore. And if you've ever said that, you are not alone. I know that after an 8-year relationship one time, I got over it, I got out of it, not understanding anything about myself. I felt like I had so many years of just losing myself. I didn't even remember who I was at the beginning of that relationship because that wasn't even her. I wasn't that person anymore either. And I moved to China. If you followed my story, you know that I decided to completely start over. Now, I'm not saying that you need to be that drastic, okay? But there are some things that you can do. So, first of all, why does this happen? So, when you've spent years and years with somebody, your lives naturally become intertwined. Your tastes, maybe your music, and your weekends revolve around each other and each other's friends and activities. And your routines become shared. The way that you start your morning, the way that you go to bed, the things that you do during the day, the things that you do on the weekend. You get the picture. So sometimes, without even realizing it, you stop asking yourself simple questions like, what do I enjoy? Relationships do require a lot of compromise. And sometimes we've gotten to the point where we're automatically asking everybody else what they want and what they need without actually thinking about ourselves. So ask yourself, what do I actually enjoy? Or what do I want to do this weekend? Do I want to be productive? Do I need to relax? Do I need to get some stuff done? Do I want to try something new? What is the kind of life that you want to create? This is the whole message behind my brand that's living deliberately today. Because it's not about just simply falling into the rest of your life, it's about intentionally creating the life that you deserve. So the relationship ends, and it's not just a relationship you're grieving. You're grieving this life that you imagined, the future that you planned, all the visions that you have in your head for how you wanted your life to be. And sometimes the version of you that existed in that relationship is that version that makes you feel so lost afterwards. And it's not because you failed, but it's because you have the chance to think of yourself as an individual for such a long time. So here's the perspective that I want to offer you in the shift. I don't think that your job after heartbreak is to go searching for that old version of yourself that you lost or rediscover her. That person is gone. And it's not a bad thing. And it's not because it's something is wrong, it's because life has changed. You have changed. You had new experiences and you can't go backwards. You can only go forwards. And why there is a bit of time to grieve that loss of the person that you used to be in the past. George Bernard Shaw has a quote that says, life is not about finding yourself, life is about creating yourself, one choice at a time. So, what does that look like? Let's start with asking ourselves, what lights me up? What am I curious about? What have I always wanted to try? Not because every new hobby is going to create a new identity and change your life, but because every new experience teaches you something about yourself. Maybe you discover that you love hiking. That was me. Maybe you finally booked that solo trip to go and explore a country that you've never seen before. Maybe you simply took yourself to the movies and that was kind of a new habit that you had to create for yourself. Maybe you finally joined that pottery class. Maybe you reconnected with old friends that unfortunately got kind of put to the side during the relationship. Maybe you started saying yes to things that have nothing to do with finding another relationship, but there were things that you wanted to try. Maybe it was learning an instrument. Maybe it was taking another language. Maybe it was finding a creative outlet like painting or sculpture, whatever. But the main thing is maybe you start saying yes to things that belong to you, this new version of yourself. You begin creating routines and habits, and this creates the new life that you have. And you stop asking, who am I? Because you're busy becoming her. So people often talk about, glow up after heartbreak. But I think it starts long before, you try to do that new haircut that you've been wanting to do to feel like a different person. Long before the new wardrobe, long before anything else. It starts with that quiet decision that I don't want this life to feel like this anymore. I don't want this life to look like this anymore. And if we keep everything the same, we're always going to notice the hole that is left by that person that is no longer in our life that made it feel like it was like it was together. And then you begin intentionally creating a life that reflects the person you're becoming and not the relationship that you lost. And that is what healing looks like. It's not finding yourself, it's creating yourself. So if this is where you feel like you are right now, if you're feeling like you're lost after the breakup, maybe you're in pain and you just don't know who you are anymore, I have something really special coming up. On August 25th, 26th, and 27th, I'll be hosting my free Heartbreak to Healing workshop. So it's 3 different days, and we're going to be talking about why heartbreak affects us so deeply, and it's hard to let go of certain things, ruminations and patterns and obsessions, and also how you can start rebuilding your confidence from sometimes the beliefs that we get after the relationships where we make it about us, like, I'm not lovable, I'm not good enough, or maybe I'm too much. So we'll be talking about regulating your nervous system with EFT tapping. If you have been following me at all, you know that I always talk about this because it's one of the ways that I healed my heartbreak, and now I can help other women to do the same. Registration will be open soon, so I can't wait to share this with you, and I hope that you'll join me. And if you like what I'm talking about, like, follow, and subscribe.